FastTrack Friday, we back, baby.
Boom.
Sorry if my
We
mic
back.
sounds
Fast
terrible.
Track Fridays.
Because it is.
Life is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody,
I lost my
to
fucking
Fast
mic,
Track.
bro.
Yes, Fast Track without audio gear, which is kind of a cardinal sin here, but
Yep.
that's okay. We are reviewing your music, your or your friend's music. I mean, don't send in music for your friend without permission,
Don't do
but
it.
well, you could, but we didn't tell you to.
That'd be kind of fucked up. Like, no. He needs help, bro. Trust me.
Somebody,
I'll
yeah.
send it in.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the people that are here so far know what's up. You might have submitted songs yourself. We will get to those today and
Yeah.
give the best constructive feedback that we can.
Yeah.
So yeah,
In
the
terms of the
link to
queue, we got Icarus, we got Chess Bro, we got Fifth Column, we got Tilopia, we got Carlman, and if you're a viewer, we have you if you submit.
Yeah, we should announce that every time. We should just go through so people know that they're in.
Will do. It is in that order.
All right.
So yeah, plan accordingly, people. Get your
Yes,
after-school snacks out. Get your drinks out. It's a Friday.
It's Friday. Yeah, be happy. Even if we piss you off, you should be happy that it's the weekend.
That's right, baby.
So yeah, if you have any tracks, if you haven't submitted a track yet, or if you have something else, or again, if you have, if you know a friend that has something, text them. The link to the form is right up in the top, over there. Fast Track Fridays at tinyurl.com/FastTrackFriday form. And I think without further ado, we can probably go ahead and get into this first track.
Yeah.
All right, so this one's Rohit. Artist name Icarus. Have we confirmed that? Is it Icarus or Icarus, or how do we pronounce it?
I'm pretty sure it's Icarus, but I can ask Rohit later. Rohit, shout out HHC, Hip Hop Collective member. He is an admin, so appreciate all your help, Rohit, and I'm excited to listen to yet another song.
Yes. Hip Hop Collective, for those who don't know, is a student organization of people who make hip hop together.
That's right.
You can probably describe it better than I can. Yeah.
HHC vet.
At the University of Illinois, which is where we hail from. Sorry if you hail from a different school. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Peace and love.
Yep. Not a school does.
Yeah. So, all right. This first one, it's by Icarus. Song is Aiming High Remix. It's a finished release. And the description is there's this website called Skio that hosts remix competitions. This is one track that I made in competition, but never turned in.
Why?
It happens, dude. I have some stuff from years ago that took so much time, and I just never released it.
Bro, you just gotta. I mean, this is for a competition specifically. Fuck it, man. Just turn it in.
Yeah, that's true. It's a mix of pop and melodic dubstep. Okay.
Go. Okay. Ready?
All right, you ready?
Yeah, count us down.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
It's like Porter Robinson.
Yeah.
Chris got my name right. Shout out Rohit.
Ooh, shit.
That's a big room noise. It's like 7 lions. Bro, why not turn this in?
Nice.
Wow, that
That
was.
was cool. Wait,
Oh shit!
Chris,
Sorry.
I couldn't hear what you were saying at the end there. What was your comment?
Sorry. I said a couple comments throughout. I said, "Why did you turn this in?" That was the last thing I said.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
dude, that was like with EDM. There's always kind of like a structure that tends to get boring, but I feel like every drop was different. It was like really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. No, I
Um,
totally agree.
I got a lot of vibes of like Porter Robinson in the beginning, especially with the vocal chops type worlds, reminiscent of worlds. Fantastic album. Um, and then near the end there, where it was like where me and Josh were like, "Whoa!" Felt like I was floating. It reminded me of an artist called 7 Lions. And so I haven't been into EDM recently, but those two were like probably my favorites way back in the day, maybe around like 2013 to 2016 or something when I was big into it. But yeah, that was super cool, Rohit. Thank you.
Yeah, that was dope.
Mhm.
Should we go into our in-depth comments?
Yes, let's do it. How about you go first? I need to
Sure.
pull it up.
Yeah. So I mean, I
Whenever
guess
you
we can
want.
just go in order of the categories here.
Yep.
Vibes. I would say. I
Finish it
thought it
after
was.
the deadline. Oh, that's why. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go
That
ahead.
that happens sometimes too.
Yeah, I see.
um,
Great
yeah. I
work.
mean, vibes. I thought it was cool. I am not always the biggest fan of EDM, although I have had my sort of phases and specific artists I really like. Um,
Oh, who?
and the main reason for that is just that I find sometimes like it gets a little bit stale, like like repetition stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, or it just doesn't feel super like dynamic and super like human, right? Because
Yep.
the default with electronic music, I mean, even stuff that you're doing in a DAW with loops and stuff is repetition. That's kind of the default state that you're at.
Yep.
And to make something sound more organic and sort of dynamic and changing, a lot of work is usually required to do that, which is kind of contrary to physical instruments, where it's actually harder to achieve consistency.
Yep.
So there's different challenges and different results that you might get with those. That being said, I thought you did really well with all the transitions being different and, like we said, the drops being unique.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it kept it really fun, really high energy. Never felt like awkward. I think that the cover art works well there. You sort of feel like you're at some like exotic club in like an island resort town or something.
Mm.
Just like super crazy and fun the whole time, high energy.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, vibes I definitely give green to. Content, again, I think the way that you sort of managed to arrange the parts here and keep things fresh was really good, especially for this genre. Um, and yeah, I can for what it is, for the style you're going for, I can't really see any major holes with content. Um, that being said, I mean, my personal tastes, 3 minutes and 45 seconds isn't like super long. Again, especially in electronic, but personally, I would maybe struggle to find things that keep me interested throughout the whole thing. But I understand how people in this genre could find this more than acceptable.
Mm.
So I would give it, lemon lime, closer to the green side for content. Uh, Production. This is like interesting because I think most of what you've done here sounds really good, but there are a few things that are just sort of like might need a little bit of work. The main thing is clashing. I heard a moderate amount of it's partly clashing, especially in the upper mid range and the highs, but it might
Mm.
also just be that you're hyping up the upper mids and the highs to try to achieve more clarity You might even be using like an exciter or something
Mm,
to get that super high frequency shine, which is cool. But when you do too much of it, and you bounce the mix, you start to lose emphasis on the bass stuff and the lower stuff, which just felt a little bit like it was buried underneath all of the mid range stuff that was happening. Um,
mm,
and it was a little bit ear fatiguing. So I think the ear fatigue was partly because of the mid-range high frequency emphasis, but also because of the compression and limiting levels.
mm,
It seemed
mm.
like it was a little bit brick walled. I
Yeah.
think you can sort of see that in the waveform.
Mm.
But I mean, more importantly, with your ears, uh, it definitely seemed like it lacked a little bit of dynamics. Which again, it's this counterintuitive, very careful balance thing where like you obviously want to get your track to be as loud as possible, but
Especially in
if you
EDM.
try right, but if you go too far, you have no dynamics, and like the sort of eventual reality that you meet up with is uh pure distortion. Right? So if you just like keep compressing something over and over, it's not even like sonically recognizable at a certain point. Modern limiters do the best they can to prevent that from happening, but it's still the way that it sounds to your ears is dependent on the actual physical dynamics. So
Mm,
I would say be careful with the limiter or the compression, and be very careful with trying to hype up mid range by just boosting. I would instead, if you want to achieve more clarity, suggest finding parts of the mid range, especially the sort of mid to lower mid range, that you can cut instead
the
of
mud.
boosting stuff and then compressing. Because that's just you're gonna raise up that high frequency mid range stuff, which is gonna make it louder compared to the bass, which you probably don't want. And then if it's hitting a limiter, all that stuff is getting squashed anyways. So you're much
Mm,
better off cutting and then dealing with your limiting separately, so you're not influencing the two together.
mm,
Um, so yeah, that's really my only production comments, I think. And I would give you probably like between yellow and green, but closer to yellow.
mm,
Just because I think those things are important. And if I was to listen to this in other systems, I'd probably find the same even more exaggerated. Uh, so yeah, I would say be really careful with that high end and the clashing and the compression.
mm.
What about you, Chris?
I'm so glad that you're here because you articulated that, um, or I would say a probable thing that happened uh, in the production side of what he was doing and what I was hearing. At first, I was like questioning. This is a remix, right? So I was wondering what the sample was like. It sounded like, um, especially in the beginning when you can hear kind of the full sample, it sounds like it was recorded from like a phone or something. Like I thought there was
Hmm.
like some sort of filter applied to it, but it was that kind of sound was throughout the whole song. And
Yeah.
when listening to your explanation of over exciting the high frequencies or the mid frequencies, it like started to make more sense to me. Like, oh, that might be a possible explanation. So maybe Rohit could give us some more detail on what he was given and stuff or what he did. But yeah, I heard the same thing in terms of
Oh,
production.
one theory, but
Sorry, what's it?
I have a theory about that also that I almost forgot about.
What's that?
I thought I could be wrong, but I thought I heard some sort of reverb happening there,
Hmm.
and that could be a possible contributing factor or explanation too. I'm not sure if that's actually there, if that was reverb from the original source material or
Hmm.
that was applied later, but like there were points when I thought I heard a little bit of that sort of trailing, and but not necessarily the good kind of trailing, especially when you have something this busy, an arrangement this busy. If you apply reverb to that, you're just like stretching out all of that, especially the high frequency and high mid material,
Hmm.
and it's just layering on top of the stuff that happens after it and making things more cluttered and more clashing and busy. So,
Hmm.
I mean, if you're like like stacking like multiple finished tracks on top of each other at any point, I don't know if that's happening here, but you're stacking more stuff than was in the originals probably. You don't want to have a reverb on those because you're going to get so much extra information that your ears just can't handle. It's just like there's too much in the waveform in the
Hmm.
high frequency space that's piling up. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Hmm. I was reading what Rohit said. He said it was a stem resampled. I'll have to see what that means. Not recorded from a phone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not saying you did it, Rohit. It might have been like what they gave you. I'm not sure, but
Oh,
uh,
he said saturation on the high
oh,
end.
really?
I could
Yeah,
see
he
that.
feels like he oversaturates his high ends. Yeah, that's what you're saying about the exciter, right? What was the What does he mean by resampled? Do you know, Josh?
Resampled. I'm not sure. I don't know if he means it was at a different sample rate or something that was
Hmm.
resampled, or if he
That
just
might just
took
add some
the.
sort of digital distortion. I'm not sure. I don't know what you mean by resampled, Rohit, but yeah, yeah, I think I heard similar things to what Josh said, especially during the drops. I thought I heard some brick walling. Um, but yeah, I mean, let me go by the format we have, right? So vibes. I already kind of said it, right? Like there are some points where I really liked what I was hearing, man. Like Porter Robinson type shit in the beginning. I love Porter
Mm-hmm.
Robinson, and then Seven Lions type shit in the end, where you kind of did a halftime drop. It was super cool. I meant resampled as in cut up and pitched up and other stuff. Oh, okay, okay. Maybe that's maybe that's what I was hearing as well. Yeah, it's a
If
remix
it's
competition.
pitched
What are you
up,
gonna
that
do?
could. I mean,
Right.
pitching up certainly would add more frequency content.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I wish you finished that on time because I feel like that could have done really, really well in the competition. But yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
seriously.
what was it? Vibes. Yeah. So vibes was green. So in the beginning, I like whatever I was hearing, that resampling, high frequency, whatever we kind of condensed what it was. That character of the sound was there. I thought it was like a effect that was gonna go away later, but it didn't go away. So but yeah, anyways, vibes was like a green. Um, content, I think for me, I was entertained the whole time, and I was, uh, I had a moment of being taken aback of like, oh, this is cool. I know this guy that made it too. Like, this is really sweet. I don't really have much complaints in terms of what was written, arranged, or the sounds kind of created by you, Rohit. So I would say green. The production, I would say, is yellow, and it's because it's such an important factor in especially EDM to be able to be. I mean, they probably boost the fucking levels higher than any other genre. So it's really like the best people know how to do frequency balancing and stuff in EDM. It's like the most, I would say, strict in that kind of
Yeah,
aspect because they're really brickwalling shit. And how do you make something sound good if it's brickwalled?
yeah,
Uh, and how do you do that at the same time while trying to sound unique and trying to change things up? And yeah, I think you achieve the change things up and making sound unique. It's just the production. Um, yeah, would take Josh's advice because I'm not as good as a producer or as versed in music technology lingo or techniques really. I think you two are probably better than me at it, but that's just what I heard, so that's what I can offer. Um, overall, I think it's a green to yellow. You definitely should have pushed that shit out, bro. I'm glad that it's public on your
yeah.
SoundCloud though. Um, so that's super sweet. I think I'll give that a like too because hey man, I liked it. It was super sweet. Josh, what did you give your overall? I don't think you did.
I did not.
What are you thinking?
I would say for me, I mean, based on what I said for the categories before, I think it's like I almost wish that we had like a magnifying glass between the develop and good to go because there's so many like you know what I
That's what I
mean.
said. I said lemon
If
lime.
if you looked at the distribution of like where songs are likely to be in terms of being between develop and good to go,
Hmm.
there's more there than in any other area of the spectrum. So I mean, it's definitely in between there. I would say it's closer to green. So if you can sort of visualize like
Hey, hey.
a percentage between there, I would
Hmm.
say that it's like 75% or so between yellow and green to be
Sheesh.
specific.
Hmm.
What about you?
All right, I said lemon lime. Um, I'm not as granular.
Sprite.
Yeah, Sprite. I mean, I
Nice.
I like this in my playlist of SoundCloud music, so it's something that I would listen again and stuff. But yeah, I could tell that it's like not like Skrillex didn't produce this. Like that's in my head, right? I just know that
Sure.
Skrillex didn't produce this. Like he's like a really good example. I feel like of brick walling shit, but it sounds really clean. So
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
but yeah. I mean, Rohit, thank you very much, bro. That was super sweet.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Keep sending us stuff.
Yeah,
Always
bro.
good to hear from you.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Mitchell
right.
Corbett says, "Yo, from YouTube.
What's
What's up,
up?
Mitchell Corbett?
What
How do you
is
know
up?
us, bro? Anyways,
Yeah, let us
who's
know.
next?
All right. Next up, we've got Chesbro.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
song is called Basil. It's a great song name.
Holy sh!
It's a finished release, and here's the description. I
Okay.
met your boy Ben at an NFT concert. What the fuck?
Okay, you have to tell us about that. Mitchell, is this you,
Wait,
bro? I don't know. Sorry. Continue.
Ben
Ben
who?
Ray. Ben Ray.
Oh, Ben Ray.
Yeah.
Duh.
Fucking Virtue Mind, bro.
Yeah, man. Tree Bark. You were there.
Dude,
All
Ben
right.
Ray being at
Anyways,
an NFT concert makes so much fucking sense. But
it
I
does.
wanna talk to him about it.
I could see like Alex being there maybe too. Maybe he was there also.
Dude, I think I wanna talk to Alex too, 'cause I think he like dropped out, like out of college.
Whoa, seriously?
I think so. Like he posted an
Crazy.
Instagram story of Kanye West's college dropout album art, and he just said, "I'll be back, boys." Or no, he said, "I'll be around" with like a peace sign.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Crazy.
So
All right. Well, that's separate drama. But anyways,
yeah. Chess Bro is in
all
the
right.
chat. Let's
Description. I met your
go.
boy.
Sorry.
So they met at an NFT concert, and he said I wanted to submit something and see your process. Okay, I'll tune in at 5:38 to your YouTube channel.
Fish,
And
fish.
hey, there's Chesbro in the
He
chat.
delivers, bro. He's a man of his word. Chess Bro. While we listen to your track, if you could give us like, I mean, however cents, like maybe 3 cents, 5 cents, whatever you want. Why are you going to an NFT concert? Where was it? And how did you meet Ben Ray?
Yeah,
Like,
what is that? I'm not
we love
sure
Ben Ray
yet.
over here.
What I know a little bit about NFTs, but not NFT concerts. So cue
Yeah, what
us
the
into
fuck?
that.
Where? Were you guys in
How does
Champagne?
that work?
Like, that's where I want to go. I want to go to an NFT concert. Give me an
Yeah,
invite.
damn, crazy. All right, pulling it
All right.
up here on the YouTube's. You got it yet?
Just a second. Yeah, YouTube.
Just let me
Oh,
know.
we got a video? Is it a video?
Uh,
Oh, shit. Okay, I previewed this a little bit. All right, let's do it.
okay.
You ready?
I think so.
All right, Basil, Chess
think
Bro. Oh, okay. Tell me when you're loaded.
All right, yeah, we're good.
All right, Basil, Chess Bro. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey man, don't do anything too weird on this one.
Joke's on you, I'm into that.
Right away, that was like
Yeah.
Hobo Johnson.
Galactic throne, I phone home, but it won't answer. Pass me the globe, I'll take hold, give it a ride. You build a foundation, sorta, kinda. No, there ain't no dedication if you can't.
Kind of spin.
Up in the sky, behold the jewels that I've been after. If the sun's too bright, you'll miss a meteor shower. But with this bright, there's unlimited power. As a just broke for a space made flower. Soaring up with just past Icarus, and no one isn't wise. And I know why they call it devilish. Perhaps it's not right, but I absolutely relish it. Watching over fight over table scrap accomplishments. Vampires have no collection of lots of repulsive. I can show what we got.
I like the crossover. I want to see this guy live. I want to see this guy live. His energy is ridiculous.
Nice.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Do you want to start off on this one?
Yeah. Vibes. So I mean, so I don't know how the mic's going through now because I have a worse mic right now. But in the beginning, I don't know if there was a sample or something like that, but it reminded me of Hobo Johnson immediately. And then you went into this like the main part of the song, and it was kind of different. But yeah, it was manic. It was energetic. I loved the crowd vocals. I don't know how you did what you did, but it sounded like you got like a crowd of dudes or a crowd of yous. I don't know what you did, but I loved that effect. I wish I could hear more of that through the instrumental.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first kind of impressions was just this guy's energy is off the wall.
Yeah.
I want to see him fucking live. That was the first thing I thought of. There's some. I got like a little bit lost in the rhythm. Like I don't know if you were off beat or the beat cut out, and then I just like when I was trying to jam to my own internal tempo from what you dropped, it like got off, and I don't know if that was a fault of your flow or a fault of me being drinking whiskey. I'm not sure, but that was my first impression. So what do you think, Josh? Hello, Josh?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
should we just go through the level? Can you hear me? Should we go through the
Yeah,
levels
yeah,
again?
yeah. I think it's like
All right.
going slow and fast for some reason. But hey, thanks, boys. No problem, Chess Bro. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, vibes. I would totally have to agree. I thought it was really good.
Just energetic.
My sort of yeah. My first thought was like, there's definitely some legit sort of artistry going on here, or some there's a lot of personality to it, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I think the delivery was good, and that shows through with the whole artistry thing, and just like feeling like there's a unique person behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's something that you absolutely don't always find. So that was really good to
And
see.
yeah, and energy, man. Energy is something that's
Yeah,
so hard to find. I just real quick on vibes because I usually give comparisons there. I
sure.
felt like so Hopa Johnson I mentioned, and he's known for like kind of off the wall fucking energy and screaming in his songs. I don't know if that's like an influence of yours, Chess Bro. I got some Young Lean vibes too, and then also maybe some of the new hyperpop acts that are out there like Midwest. But yeah, Midwest is a little more laid back than you are. But yeah, that was cool. Sorry, I interrupted you, Josh. Go
Should
ahead.
we should we even do like vibes, like each of us vibes, and then content each of us? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that sounds fine to me. Yeah.
Do you have anything else on vibes? I think that was all I had.
Nah, vibes I mostly just make a comparison of who I think it is and then whether their energy's right because things I listen for is energy. Hey, are you on fucking beat? Did I lose it or not? And I did mention that I did, so
Yeah,
maybe it's like 90% green. Um, but yeah, I just I want to see this person live. I think it's an overall positive. So yeah, we can go
yeah,
to content.
I agree, and I would give it a green for that. I assume you'd be green too.
Yep, 90%
Uh,
green.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So then content. I thought the only, I mean, I know it's the style, but there were times when I couldn't really latch on to any like lyrical,
Oh yeah, I didn't
meaning
know one word this
phrases.
man said.
Yeah, right, because it
Yeah,
was just so fast. I think it was partly because it was so fast, but it was also because of some issues that we can discuss in the production section.
yep,
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely overall just arrangement wise, which is really like content, um, pretty chaotic, and I know it's like there are certain vibes that are more difficult. I mean, actually, every vibe is, is kind of difficult to form in music, but when you want a chaotic vibe, say, it doesn't necessarily mean just throwing a lot of stuff in, right? Because then
yeah,
that becomes hard for the person to sort of absorb.
yeah,
And similarly, when you're trying to make something really simple and sleek, it doesn't always mean that you can only have very, very few parts. A lot
yep,
of times there's a lot of complex automation stuff happening, or like, you know, gating and dynamic EQing, compression. There's a lot of like things you might not expect are required to get the vision across that you're trying to create, and it can be counterintuitive a lot, and we talk about that fairly often.
yeah.
With this, I know you're trying to go for that kind of high energy, like sort of chaotic, crazy, like emotional roller coaster vibe.
It's like an
um,
anthem too, with
right,
like
like,
the chord. What is it? The background vocals. You know what I mean? It sounded like a
yeah,
crowd.
right. And I know, I mean, one other thing that I noticed about vibes, content arrangement type thing, uh the chorus is fairly catchy, right? Like the parts that repeat have a clear pattern. They're trying to get, it's trying to be an earworm and trying to hook in, but that becomes more difficult when it's harder for the listener to sort of absorb, the drug of it, because it's especially with the issues in arrangement and production. So I would
Mm,
just say, like, on the content side, just be careful of like you should probably like make sure you don't have any extraneous layers in there that are just causing chaos and like make it harder to absorb the important things for
Yeah.
the listener. Um, that and just like we would love to be able to hear more of what you're saying. I don't know if
Yeah.
maybe like you can have sections that are fast with the vocals, but maybe have some where it's a little bit more legible, and that
Mm.
can sort of help keep the listener engaged and not feel like they're constantly falling behind trying to understand what's going on.
Yep.
So yeah, that's sort of my comments and content. I would give it a lemon lime sort of chartreuse between yellow and green on content. But what about you?
Yeah. I'd agree, and I think we're gonna probably have the same comments on. It's kind of like a both production and a content thing because
Yeah.
nothing like stuck out from the mix. It seemed like it was very flat. Like when I was trying to observe, like for the beat, for example, the kick drum and the snare, like this is kind of like a hip hop anthem to me. That really needs to pop out of the mix, right, and like hit me in the chest. And it wasn't hitting me in the chest. Um, with the vocals, I need to be able to hear what you're singing so I can start singing along, especially with those crowd vocals because it sounds like an anthem. And you bring the energy with it. And I told you I like the crowd, but I can't really hear it, and it doesn't really pop out. And that's as a listener, that's what I wanted it to happen. And if I was like a producer on this, that's what I would try to work on is to try to make the stuff that needs to pop out pop out. Because I think overall the mix kind of sounded flat. So this kind of like going between production and arrangement here. Because arrangement wise, it was kind of uh, the whole the whole song was like the same feel, you know. There wasn't really like a dropout of everything and then just you and the crowd vocals and like that's really when you could get everybody to sing along, you know. There wasn't and stuff like that. So I agree with Josh. I would be like lemon lime on this as well. And I think most of the stuff I'm hoping Josh is going to drop another gem here in production because you know I've been told I have a good ear, but I can't really articulate what to do next, and I think Josh is really good at that. So yeah, I've hyped you up, Josh. What do you got on production?
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to mention it before, but I thought that those, the backing vocals and the layering and stuff
It
seemed
reminds me
like
of
what.
A Day to Remember, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. That stuff seemed like well composed, well put together. I thought that stuff made sense. Again, it was a little bit hard to really make out those parts and really
Yeah.
hear them,
I'm jealous
understand
because
them.
I wish I know how to do what he did because that was cool. I don't know
Yeah.
how he did it.
That stuff is hard. Like, I mean, an example that always comes to mind is the way that, like a lot of the tracks on Bruno Mars's 24 Karat Magic
Mm,
are arranged. There are some videos out there about this too, but like, just there's not a bar that doesn't have something interesting and different in a lot of those songs. Like,
mm,
it's really, and you see it in hip hop percussion too when you're like trying to layer drums and stuff. Such a skill being able to know exactly where to put things, right? Like on that grid, keeping it fresh, even keeping it like interesting across the standard 4 bar, 8 bar, and having
yeah.
that repeat.
Mm,
Arrangement is definitely a skill not to be reckoned with.
yeah.
um, but yeah, as far as the more production things go, um, it was sort of similar to the last track that we heard. What I was hearing, just like there's a lot of crowding happening in the mid range, which
Yeah.
is pretty common. Mixing engineers work definitely by far the most in the mid range because that's the range that your ear is most sensitive to details in. Like think about it this way: if you boost above like 7,000 hertz or something, or even like lower than that, you have a boost and you like sweep that across, like you raise it up at 7,000 or 9,000 or 12,000, your ear's not going to hear a huge difference, even though those frequencies are pretty far apart. It's a big range, that high end. But in the mid range, you move an EQ move from like 100 hertz to 150. There's a huge difference to your ear, right?
Mm,
So, and then if you go further up, there's all these sort of subjective qualities that you find in the mid range very close to each other. A lot of the time, you'll see professional mixing engineers do a boost and then a cut right after it because there's a favorable frequency range right next to a really ugly one. And that's part of the reason why the mid range is so tricky, especially if you're taking stems and layering stuff, because you get mid range that starts to clash. And there's this thing called the masking effect, which is where if one instrument is playing in a certain frequency range and there's another in the same range, one sort of disguises the other, and you either can't really hear one of them or they meld together, or the overall sort of perceived quality of each instrument just changes like pretty drastically. So, yeah, that's something to watch out for, is just making sure you're not like layering too much stuff in the mid range. Cut some mid range out if you don't need it in a lot of those vocals. Could be from the backing track and whatever else you're putting together there. But also all those vocal layers do add up. So you have to be careful, like if you have a lot of layers that are from the same person or a similar vocal type, you want to like use a different microphone for some of them. That's a really good tip. If you have a lead vocal and then other vocals that you want to separate,
Hmm.
just like use one mic for the lead and a different mic for the other ones, and stand further away from the mic when you're doing the backing vocals. That's a really quick and easy way to help with the crowding of the vocal range. So yeah, that's one thing. I don't know how much compression is going on here, but that's usually a factor when there's a lot of mid-range clashing. It sort of just smashes everything up against each other. And that can cause problems as well.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think if there's a whole lot else. Oh, the bass. That was one thing that sort of caught my ear.
Hmm.
I think
Oh,
you
by the
should.
way, he said that's dope, boys. Thanks. If you guys have time, check this out. He linked us something, and then he said NFT Chicago. I'm no tart gallery. Sorry, continue.
Oh, nice. Sounds
Yeah.
cool. The thing that I noticed with the bass, if you have control over it, like if you added that bass in, I would probably choose a different patch, honestly. Choose a different patch or make some major modifications, because one, I didn't feel like it provided a very good foundation for the song. It was sort of an instrument that was out there doing things, but it didn't feel like the solid foundation of like a song where it's got the right balance of sort of sub and low end, and you can hear some of that, lower mid range that defines the note. You need to have all three of those things to have a really supporting bass, especially in this genre, this kind of song. Um, that was part of it. The other part was you had some
I just
weird
didn't hear
legato
much of it.
happening. Yeah, and you didn't hear a whole lot of it, partly because I think it was lacking. I think it had a decent amount of sub bass and a decent amount of upper mid range, but
Hmm.
not enough of the sort of straight ahead lows. So you might want to look into that, but also the sort of legato thing that was happening, where the bass was like doing that in between notes,
Hmm.
was a little bit distracting at times, and I think the actual uh, composition or of the actual bass part was moving around a little bit too drastically. It was sort of going like octave and third up, and then like back down, and then up and down, and you're losing the foundation as you do that, unless you key in a sub octave bass separately, which you could also do. You could layer them. But the legato thing on the bass, it has some uses, but it can be distracting, especially I think in this kind of case. So if I were you, I would probably look at other bass patches. Try layering. That can work too. Just be careful that you're not overloading any specific frequency range when you do that. Um, or yeah, just try to do something without so much jumping around and legato and stuff. Make it more foundational. But yeah, that's my main production tips. What do you think, Chris?
Just to make sure we're clear, Chess Pro. So I mean, I'm a vocalist that typically raps over beats that I receive. So let us know if you're a similar artist, or if you like actually make your beats too. Because then like some of this
Oh
you might
yeah,
have to relate to the producer rather than your own kind of performance.
yeah,
Um,
those stuff.
so I mean, coming from my own perspective of, say, if you're like just purely vocals, right? Um, I think the balance.
Oh, he said he makes all his stuff.
Oh, that's crazy. Good job, bro. Fuck
Nice,
yeah.
yeah, super dope.
Okay,
So you
so I'm
okay?
glad
Cool.
that that applies. That applies to you. Um, in terms of just the balance, I think in terms of us not being able to catch the lyrics right away, I think it might be advantageous for you to kind of boost the vocals up into the mix more, make it a little more forward. Because it sounds like a song I want to sing along to, but I don't know what the lyrics are.
Or
You
cut
know?
some mids and the important vocal length
Exactly.
out of those areas too.
Exactly. Yeah. And the way that I mean, I love to do. I mean, so there's a. I mean, the way that the song is structured, I think you could do like a hard cut, just like a single cut in the EQ of the beat, per se. But I always love talking about dynamic EQ and finding like the frequency that your voice really pops out, and then duck that frequency into the beat, and then do it dynamically, meaning that when your voice comes in, that's when it ducks that frequency. If you really want to get like a fuller sounding song throughout. But yeah, I think in terms of what Josh said, I think he hit the nail on the head. And I think, as a producer, you should kind of listen to what he says. He has a music technology degree. But
I
beats
try.
and lyrics and mixing. Yeah, dude, you're a fucking powerhouse, bro.
That's
Um,
sick.
and what's really cool is that not only you know how to do all of this stuff, you do it moderately well. But as an artist, you have the energy, man. And to me, I think
Yeah.
that's so rare.
Oh
There's like
yeah.
an energy and a confidence. Like, that's why immediately I was like, I want to hear you live because I feel like you would tear a place up. Like it doesn't, you don't need all that kind of fancy shit. At least unless you're doing a live audio too. But typically someone else does that for you to make you sound decent. So we got K Swabe in the building, by the way. Yurski, Ysurski. What's up, bro? Happy Friday. Get your drinks out. But yeah, so production wise, I'm gonna go yellow. I don't know if you gave the yellow as well.
I didn't
Josh.
really. I would say also probably a yellow.
Mhm.
By the way, I mean Chris just mentioned the whole thing about the energy and artistry and all that. That might since you do all the production and writing and stuff like that. I
And
know it can be
NFTs.
hard, like and NFTs. Yeah, I know it can be difficult sometimes, like when you are wearing all the hats, to sort of remove yourself and like try to look at it from a different perspective, right? Because in a way, you need like one sort of shift of perspective for writing your lyrics, right? Like the message you're trying to get across, and then another when you're listening critically as a mixing engineer, right? And you're trying to figure out like the great thing when you're doing all these things is that there can be like a vocal part that is giving you trouble in the mixing process. And then you might realize, oh, I could actually change the vocal line there and it would make it, overall sound better. You might not think that as a first fix for a mixing issue, but you have the power to be able to do that. I would just say that because you have control over all of those aspects and because you have the artistry, try considering like making your beat a little bit more minimalistic, right? Because you don't need all the stuff to cover you up around you, right? Like I think we both think it would be great if you could shine through the song and the mix a little bit more. And we're
Bro.
telling you that you should. So if it's a question of like, I don't know if I want to like take some of these, these safety blankets off, we're telling you that you should try it. And, you might have to relearn a few things about how to make yourself stand out more. But we both think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, the beat was decent, right? But yeah, what really caught my ear was your energy and the vocals and the freaking crowd vocal effect. That was super cool. So, yeah, um, yeah.
Yeah, that was
But
great.
in terms of overall, I think again, you're right, Josh. It's between a good to go and a develop for me because if I was a producer, I would be changing stuff, right? Um, but I think this is a
Yeah.
finished release, so hey, man, like take it with a grain of salt. Take it with the next releases that you do. And by the way, we do accept both works in progress and finished releases. So if you have a song where you're like, hey, man, I finished the mix on this, like it's mix one. I'm going to be doing a couple iterations. Would love to get a second ear or third ear. Send it over our way. I love your artistry and your energy. So I'd love to be able to help out in your future releases if possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
Small thing about the finished release part. We talk about this every once in a
Oh,
while,
a
and I know.
playlist. Yeah, you'll be on a playlist.
Yes,
By the
well,
way.
definitely the playlist thing. We've got a couple of playlists, so keep an eye out for those. Follow us on
Yeah.
Insta if you don't already. But uh, I know some friends that have been discovering this recently. If it's really nagging at you, like you have a song that's already out there and you're like, ah, shit, like I know it could be better. Like, let's say you get a new pair of monitors, you treat your room, and you hear a bunch of shit that you didn't hear before. Uh, you can re-release in most cases, like, and not losing all of the stats and like the links and all that shit.
Yep.
Most services will let you re-upload audio and it'll just go right in place where it was before. So that's always an option, but not necessary. Always keep it moving forward. You don't have to keep stuff up for forever if you don't like it, or you can re-release it at some point. But
The
yeah, that's
beauty
kind
of
of
being your own music manager. And you could
yes.
sell it at the NFT.
Ooh, exactly. Good
Wait,
idea.
Big Bet, listen to this real fast. Tell me if you have the same thoughts, bro. Should we listen to this or should we go to the next submission?
Let's go to the next submission that we've got here.
Damn, sorry,
Um,
Chess, bro.
I mean, we just have to be fair because there are people
Yeah.
who submitted, a few days ago or last week.
Yeah, we might get it if we have time at the end, but yeah, we're gonna go to the other people because we have like a line.
Yes.
And as you could tell, each song we take fucking long compared to
Yeah.
other people that do this shit. Yeah, so Chess Bro, I appreciate you, man. If you catch us later near the end, we might do it. If not, I mean, I think you fill out the form, so that means we'll send you a clip. So yeah,
Yeah. The best way to guarantee,
It's
I
the
mean, you've
form.
already, yeah, it would be the form, just so we don't forget anything because we sort of have a list with that.
Yeah, if you submit that and say that you want the package, then like we'll give you a clip. So like even if you can't make it, like we'll send it over your way. So
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I don't know, just for record's sake, I think I didn't say my final score.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, what do you know? It's between develop and good to go.
that's what I said too. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's really dependent on the specific categories which we go through if you're trying to figure out why.
yeah,
But yeah, I would just say that for other reasons than like the one before, for instance, it's between there. It's great on the artistry and vibe stuff, but there's some production and maybe arrangement type stuff that could be worked on.
yep.
All right, should we do the next one here?
Yes, let's do the next one. Before we finish that, Chess Bro, if there's another NFT concert, let me know. I would love to go check out what the fuck that is. So appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you, and yeah, we'll go to fifth column.
Yeah. All right, so we've got fifth column, Bad Woman.
Alright.
I like that song title too.
Yeah.
Finished release, and we've got quite the description here. Just a noisy rock music enthusiast living the central coast of California. Graduate from college here 2 years ago. Always wanted to be a rock star. Ooh. So I started writing songs on my guitar my sophomore year. Wow, that's recent, sounds like. I collaborated on this track with a good friend of mine who lives in Santa Barbara. We grew up playing guitar together, getting stoned in the tree fort to the Arctic Monkeys. Wow, that sounds fun.
Let's go.
Aside from occasionally requesting his assistance on production work or needing a nasty solo to include, I write and record everything myself. Nice. Fifth column is more the name of the musical project than it is a band name per se. Working on a 6-track debut EP titled Sound from Upside Down to be released January 2022. Nice. Quite the comprehensive description there. Sounds like a fun musical upbringing you've had, and yeah, I'm excited to hear it. You've hyped it up.
It's more the name of the musical project than it is a band name per se. Working on a 6-track debut EP titled Sound from Upside Down to be released January 2022. Okay, so is this a single? Is it public? Is it private?
I
guess it's a single, right?
It's got to be public if we have a link.
So it's a single from his debut EP, his or her.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It looks like it. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Very, very cool.
Maybe it's a pre-release. I don't know. Oh, it does say it's in a demos playlist, so it's like a demo, I guess.
Okay, but it's not private. Okay, sure. Garage rock. I fucking love garage rock. Let's do it.
Nice. All right, ready?
You ready? Yeah.
3, 2, 1, lift off. Nice dissonance.
It's like bluesy.
Yeah.
I can see Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah,
Stroke.
same. A little bit of Black Keys, maybe.
Yep.
Reminds me of Jet too, a little bit.
Yeah, that Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Yeah, exactly.
look at the ones you left. Got to bang that throne sitting in your head. You're a bad bitch, baby, get your damn respect. Get your damn respect. Get your damn respect. Girl, you know it, I know you know it. World's about to learn that you're a damn respect. Girl, you know it, I know you know it. World's about to learn that you're a damn respect.
Is there like a double there?
Double of what?
Hold on, I'll talk about it later.
Ooh, dramatic ending.
There it is.
Cool.
All right, let me see. I need to get down to the bottom of this.
You re-listening?
Yeah, I was re-listening to a specific part. It sounded like I opened up another duplicate window and I was playing the same song again. And it happened around like 1 minute 50. I don't know if you heard the same thing, but that was weird.
I did not.
Yeah.
Sort
Okay,
of.
I'll keep that out of my review.
All
That
right.
might have just been a problem on my end. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sure.
That's calm.
All right, so let's go. I guess let's do it in order again. Vibes. I mean, shit. This is
Yours.
cool.
Arctic
I don't think we.
Monkeys, Jet, Strokes. You
Yeah,
said Black
yeah.
Keys.
I don't think
Yeah.
we've gotten anything quite like this yet, which is awesome. I wish we would
Nope.
get more stuff like this.
Yeah, I love garage rock.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the garage rock vibe, and I mean that in a couple of ways. Like, you definitely have the genre style very much down, I think. At least at a basic level, like there might be some sort of arrangement, like instrument part type things that could be souped up a little bit to make it, just maybe a little bit more professional. That's the thing with garage rock that's interesting is like it doesn't matter live, right? Like live, it's fun as hell. Like as long as you're good and you can play, like it's great. But for recorded music, right, for like streaming and stuff, even the Black Keys and Arctic Monkeys, like very delicate balance of mix and guitar parts. There's a shitload of guitar layering of like tiny little parts that you would never hear that goes on in there, and a lot of careful mixing. And it's again one of these counterintuitive things where you might say garage rock is supposed to be messy and sort of simplistic, but action in reality, making appealing garage rock doesn't just mean messy parts and very few of them, even though it might trick the listener into sort of feeling that way. So I just think that there's a couple of areas like this might be more on the content side, but also with vibes, that things could be tightened up just a little bit to really like make it drive the listener even more and make it even more fun for them as a listening experience. But it is very close. I'm not saying that it's like bad on any of those fronts at all. So I mean, for me, I think the vibes are pretty great. Aside from like, I think they could feel slightly more, cohesive or put together. Just a little bit more consideration into exactly what you want your song to sort of sound like and feel like throughout, and that can even be in like small sections. Like I noticed at towards the end, there's another guitar part that comes in, or it was either guitar or maybe a bass with some fuzz or distortion on it or something that was just like too loud relative to other stuff, and it was like right here, sort of distracting from the overall vibe of the track. So just a little bit more thought into those small decisions with what parts you're playing where go into the vibes a lot. So I would definitely give it a lemon lime, I think, for vibes. In my heart, it's a green, but I think with some of like making it feel better to more listeners, it's, needs a little bit of work. What would you say?
Yeah, so I wonder if that last comment where you talked about another guitar came in, I wonder if that was the same phenomena that I heard.
I think it
That
was
it
further after. I think it was later
really?
than you said that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, something, yeah, okay. I told myself I would not talk about that. Okay, because that was probably an error on my part. Yeah, vibes. So yeah, this sounds garage rocky to me. Um, what Josh is saying, I mean, if I were to distill it, it's like garage rock is supposed to sound lazy, but like when you're actually mixing it, it's like not lazy. It's very curated.
Yeah.
Um, I can agree and disagree with that point. I do think that, like, so I kind of share this perspective too, but one of my friends put it a really good way. I think, what was it? Avenged Sevenfold. So he said he doesn't really like Avenged Sevenfold because they sound too perfect, and he likes,
Yeah, I could
yeah.
see that.
So he likes sounding or hearing the imperfection, and so like for
Yeah.
me, for example, I like it when a drum mix sounds really, really gritty. So one
Mhm.
example I come to mind, I don't know if this is garage rock, but Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2, like where the fucking you hear like the room that that drum set was played in, and it's like kind of shitty and like a little bit offbeat at times, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Um, but
Well,
anyways, I'm
well,
getting
look,
kind of off on a tangent.
here's an example though, just on that thread. An
Yeah.
example is like Nirvana, like a perfect example is Nirvana, right? I mean, they're like the kings of grunge. Like you think of them as having this sort of like sloppy, wild, chaotic sound, but
Mm-hmm.
famously, Kurt Cobain is a master of vocal doubling. He
Mm-hmm.
could walk into a vocal booth and sing the exact same part exactly the same way, first try,
Mm-hmm.
which is anybody who's doubled vocals knows that that's not easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with his guitar parts. Actually, his playing style sounds like kind of sloppy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's consistent, and that's the difference between people who are sort of amateurs on the sloppy end and people who are like, it's like falling with style almost,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like you're doing something that's sort of like destructive and chaotic, but you're doing it in a way that's like beautifully controlled. You know what? Which is
Mm-hmm.
such a weird thing people don't think about a lot, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes for like anything where you're trying to sound like loose when you're like rapping or singing, right? Oftentimes when you're a beginner, you sound a little bit stilted and stiff and kind of self-conscious, and it takes time to work into sounding like you're using less effort, which is also
Mm-hmm.
that same counterintuitivity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just, that was sort of my comment. But sorry, go on with your vibes.
Yeah, so I used to be in drumline, and like that was the thing. Like weirdly enough, in drumline you could sound too uptight. And one of my section leaders, he told me like, "Hey, play it like an asshole. You have to play it like you know it like in the back of your hand, like you don't give a shit,
Yeah.
and then you'll sound good." And yeah, that kind of reminded me of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say that because I for garage rock I would be like a little more forgiving in terms of some things. Um, and maybe we'll get into this in terms of production. So me, I'm a vocalist, and right away, uh, I think the balance is off. I think the guitars are too loud compared to the vocals. But
Yep. Compared
vibes,
to
I think,
everything.
yeah, vibes. I think like you heard us talk about the comparisons: Black Keys, Strokes, the Arctic Monkeys, and what was the other one? Fucking
Uh,
Jet.
Jet.
Yeah, you have the swingy kind of guitars going. The drums
Yeah.
came in and having the same thing. So I think the vibe that you're going for is there. Um, But yeah, I want to hear more energy from the vocalists, and I also just want to hear more of the vocalists. Like you hear the Strokes, for example. I'm doing a lot of covers with them recently. I mean, I think his name is Julian Casablancas, but he like at some point sounds like he's lazy and drugged out, like but then he like screams sometimes, and it sounds so dope. And like you can hear him above the kind of cool guitars that's happening. So yeah, vibes. I would say it's like a between a yellow and a green for me. Yeah, content. What do you think?
Yeah, content, I don't really have a whole lot
Oh, by the
for.
way, sorry. The chat loves this. So, fifth column, like whatever you're doing it right. Fuck us critics, right? Rohit Jamie says, "Oh man, I already love this." Jason Carlson, I think that's him, Carl Man.
Yeah,
He said,
yeah,
"This
I was
is
gonna
it."
say,
And then K Suave says, "It's not easy at all." Amount, yeah,
the
exactly. But
falling controlled falling thing, I think he was talking about.
oh, I see.
Um,
Artistry, bro. Fifth column, people are liking it. So yeah.
yeah. You guys, the project is going well here so far.
Mm,
Yeah, and I wonder what it sounds like now. This looks like it was 2 months ago, so I wonder if you guys have worked on this at all since.
yeah.
But yeah, either way, content I don't really have a whole lot for, just because I think that like the song is only 148. Oh no, it's longer. 2:39. Okay, so yeah, I mean, definitely like you're not too long. I think that's a good length for this kind of song, actually.
Yeah.
Um, definitely, seemed like it was well arranged. Had a straight ahead rock structure. Um, don't have a whole lot there. The only thing, sometimes there are like standout lines in like garage rock that really get you. Like Arctic Monkeys does that a lot, where they have, man, I wish I could think of a good example, but just like
You mean like
lyrics.
guitar?
No,
Oh.
I mean like lyrics that sort of catch your ear, where it's like something kind of backwards or like interesting.
Hmm.
And Jet does that too with like that "Are You Gonna Be My Girl" song. Like they
Hmm.
make a whole space for that line, and
One,
you
two,
never
three,
forget
go.
it. Yeah, and like stuff like that, like these just sort of lyrical, like linguistic, earworms that they
Hmm.
sort of surprise you with. Just like I would suggest trying to make your lyrics slightly more like shocking, not
Hmm.
shocking, but like adding things in that catch the listener's ear, like lyrical phrases that are you like surprising that you don't normally hear, or like, you know, adding space around a very special vocal line so people kind of are like anticipating it, and then it sort of hits your ear harder. Um, that was
Hmm.
just something that I sort of wish this had, so that we could get more lyrical value out of the song overall. Because otherwise, people might just sort of gloss over the lyrics and not really think about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
So
And the
that's
thing
what,
about that is you might have said it, but I mean, I didn't hear it. Like the only thing that I caught was, and probably is because my mind was listening for it, was "she's a bad woman" or "you're a bad woman."
yeah.
Like that's all I heard, and it's because I think the balance was off. But yeah,
Yeah,
I,
and it does have to do with the balance too, like how legible it is to people.
mm.
Um, but yeah,
Guitars
for
tend to be in that
content,
same frequency range.
right, right. And we can definitely get into that stuff in production.
Yep.
But for content, I would give it a very close to green. I think like the lyrical spice is something that could be added on top. But right now you've got a good song structure, so I would say it's very close to good to go.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's very close to good to go to. Like if I was rehearsing this with my band, I wouldn't change stuff. I wouldn't change the structure. From what I heard of the lyrics, I wouldn't change it. But you already know what I my kind of what is it critique is on that. But yeah,
Yeah,
so for the sake of redundancy or avoiding redundancy, I'll say that it's between a green and a yellow, mostly towards green for content for me.
for sure. All right, production. I think we have a drum
Mm.
roll. Well, actually, I don't know if we do the
Oh, I don't have it.
drums.
Yeah, I don't have it.
I was
Oh,
gonna
okay.
say the drums. I thought you might hear
I
that,
tried my
but
best. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that was the thing that I heard immediately, like, when stuff came in. So at the
Yep.
beginning, it was, I think, just guitar for a little bit, and
Yep.
I was like, "Oh, this is exciting." And then the other stuff came in, I'm like, "Fuck." Like,
Hmm.
where I'm like, "Damn it, like, where is this?" Is obviously a demo, like, you can sort of tell that because there's not a whole lot of weight or substance to especially the bass and drums. That's the most common thing that you hear, like, difference between demo and finished song is it
Hmm.
doesn't feel full.
Hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with low end, but also just EQing and cutting stuff so that it all fits together in a nice, solid package.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
yeah,
maybe
so
compression could work with the drums as well.
it could help, but right now, I mean, the first thing before you, like, please, before you do compression, clean things up.
Mm.
You don't want to like polish a turd. That's
Mm.
basically what it is. Like compression is like polish, and if you're doing that to source
Polished
material that
turd.
has a bunch of problems already, you're probably still gonna have problems. So you're gonna be like squashing a bunch of weird mid-range stuff, and we've heard that on other tracks before. Um, I would definitely say like do some EQing. I think you're probably recording live drums, so I don't know if you have two mics or a mic on every drum or what your situation is there.
Hmm.
That can make things significantly more difficult. One option, if you don't have a good mic setup and you have some limitations around the physical kit, is to get triggers that you can put on the physical drums. Like they have like a system you can get for that. You can probably get one used for a pretty good price. And then you can have MIDI drums in addition to recorded drums, and you can layer them. And that's a really great way to get really fucking nice sounding, full but organic drum sounds.
So I was gonna ask, well, in terms of the drum sounds, what would you say they are? I would say they sound kind of boomy, but what are you saying? The kit is just sounding low quality?
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly just hard to hear because it was so low in the mix, and there's a lot of stuff that's on top of that, like especially the guitars. So
Okay.
I can't really give any very good advice on that. But the most common thing, like the hardest instrument probably to record, is drums. Obviously,
Fuck.
because you need so many goddamn mics because there's there's so much resonance happening at different areas, and
Fuck.
yeah, drums are very hard and often expensive to record. That it's also it gets worse because they're extremely loud and percussive, which means they do not do well with surfaces and walls and rooms, right? Because it's just reverberating around. Uh, when they do like reverb simulations, like modeled off of real world rooms, they use like a gun basically that just creates a super percussive punch, and that gives you all of the reverb response of the room. That's what a drum is doing, right? You're hitting it really hard, and the sound waves are going everywhere at a high velocity, coming back, and you've got all this reverb wash. And most rooms don't sound very good. Major studios use like a giant room to do drum recordings so that they don't get all of that crap.
Hmm.
Um, so I would definitely recommend, like, if you can't get a really good drum sound in your physical setup, layer it with some drum triggers, and you could probably go a long way with that stuff. Even
Fire.
just using the software drums are really good these days. So yeah, that's sort of a production thing. Other than that, guitars are too loud. You guys definitely seem guitar focused, being garage rock and everything.
Hmm.
Um, but
He said
all of
so in
this
his
has,
in his description.
yeah, all of this obviously has to be done with finesse. You don't want your drums to be like extremely quiet compared to your guitars, and your vocals be buried under things too. So just try to work on that. Dynamic EQ and compression are sometimes an option. Just panning things more, like using some space with some reverb, uh, and mostly just volume. Volume and EQing are the things to start with there, and then you can look at compression to if things are too jumpy with the guitars, which they can be at times, then compression comes in useful. um, yeah, I think that's the main comments that I have. And then, for the bass also, usually, however you're recording the bass, it doesn't sound mix ready right when you've recorded it, which you might already know. But I would just suggest, like, usually bass needs compression to really flesh out the low end and make it feel foundational, and some EQ, and maybe even putting a different amp simulator or something like that on it. Yeah, the bass definitely needed some extra oomph to it as well. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's my production comments. What about you?
Sorry, we got a submission I think from Case Suave, so I was just putting that in the doc.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm glad that you went hard on the drums. Um, yeah, I was just gonna like sum it up to it sounds very garage rocky, but yeah, to me it sounded boomy. Um, and the guitars I think just kind of overpowered it a little bit. In terms of how to fix it, I'm not as sure. So I think following Josh's advice on the drums
I mean,
makes a
for
lot of sense.
boominess, it's EQ is a huge part of it, but
Mhm,
it's I was just saying it's difficult based on what your mic setup is, and
mhm,
there's the main way is either get additional mics or like really work on your miking more, like do some A/B tests. That's the best way to do it.
mhm.
Um, but also you could try a trigger thing. But sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at the waveform, I mean, I don't know how much I can really get off of that, but
Oh, it
I
was a
could just
lot
tell
quieter than
I could just tell how big the transients are coming through. That's kind of why, like, I could hear the transient, but then not much of the timbre of the actual drum was coming. Like,
right.
I could tell that it was there and that it was hitting, but I didn't really hear the taste of the snare or the taste of the kick. I just heard like a boom. So I guess that's what I mean by boomy. But yeah, that's why I kind of lean towards compression there to just get rid of the transient a little bit more. But yeah, I think the biggest thing I heard, and I alluded to it both categories, was the balance of the vocal. Because, bro, like I love the Strokes and I love listening to Casablancas and his vocals and his guitars, but you got to hear the vocals. Like that's the kind of heart of the song, and or the message. It's the pure message of the song, unless it's an instrumental. But yeah, I just want to be able to hear you more above the guitars, and I think that judging on how the drums sounded in terms of balance, I think that means that you turned down the guitars a little bit. Um, there's also probably some EQing you could do. Kind of find the region of vocal that really pops out the most and has like the most kind of clarity that we can understand the vocals better on the first listen, and take that EQ range and duck it in the guitars. But also, I think it could just help with reduction in volume
Yeah.
overall for the guitar. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think, I mean, this is going to be an EP, so maybe this is the single release. Or this is a demo. If this is a work in progress, I mean, I definitely would love to hear how you change it going forward. And yeah, man, send us more of your stuff because this is right up my alley, and I think it's right up Josh's alley too.
Yeah.
So production, I think it's a yellow because to me, being a producer, I think that's an obvious change. I would think.
Yeah. I might even be in the orange for production.
I
I
see
mean,
it.
there's stuff that might need to be re-recorded, honestly.
Drums.
Yeah, drums may need to be. I mean, there might be a couple of guitar parts you may want to just clean up a little bit,
Hmm.
or just layering some more interesting parts, or just making sure it sounds like you guys really want it to. And I don't know what your guys' experience level is with mixing. Please make sure that you master this at the end. It doesn't mean that you have to brick wall things, but I promise you, mastering will make things sound a lot fuller.
Yeah, it glues
And
things together.
that's important for garage rock too, like ironically, because you might not think of garage rock as being like a super like polished, mastered, compressed genre, but once you do that and it sounds fuller, it's so much more powerful. Like it brings you closer to the live experience in a way because you can sort of feel it more. Again, that full sound is what we're going for. And modern listeners are going to latch onto it more, as opposed to them sort of thinking like, "Oh, this sort of sounds like a little amateur, like some garage band, garage rock recording," versus something that's closer to like Arctic Monkeys or Black Keys that sounds a little bit more like, "Oh shit, like we should look out for these guys. Like who's on the block now? Holy shit, sounds good."
Mhm.
So, and let me tell you one thing from experience. If there's anything that you pay somebody else to do in this process, please let it be mastering.
Hmm.
You can do everything else on your own if you want to, or pay friends or whatever. But just get one person, get a decently good mastering engineer to master the whole EP together, because then from track to track, things are going to sound consistent and super professional. That's like putting the final packaging on your product. Like if you put something in a store and the box looks like it was designed in like Windows Paint, nobody's going to buy it, right? But if you have a really professional look on it, everything, and it's a good product, then you might have some success. So mastering is an important thing for that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think track total for this one would be probably a straight ahead develop for me, because I think like your
Me too.
vibes and
So,
style and all that stuff is really good, but production needs some work.
yep, I agree.
All
Um,
right.
K Suave says Suave up soon. Suave is the last person in our queue because Suave submitted
Well,
during our stream. But that'll
the,
be number 6. So we're gonna be on number 4. This was number 3. So number 4, number 5, and then you'll be up Suave. So however you
yeah,
need to
there's two
configure
more.
that. I think you're at work right now, so um, yeah, just chill until we come up. But yeah, appreciate
So,
y'all tuning in.
and yeah, just to make that clear, there's two people in front of you, so it's not
Yeah, 2 people.
super far away.
Yep.
All right, so the next one we've got here is T
Tilopia?
Lopia. Yeah, let me get this up on the
Opia?
screen for our lovely viewers.
Yeet. Ooh, look at this. Si vediamo. Tilopia. Is that wine? Looks like it.
Ooh, that's very nice.
DistroKid. Hey, I see you.
All right,
That makes me want to
so
pour another glass of whiskey.
well, we know what happens when that goes down.
Yeah, I clip. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be some weird stream thing that's happening, because it's happening a little bit now, and I don't think it's microphone related. So that might be a
Oh,
tech support thing for me to
thanks,
find out
Livestream.
about. Yeah. Anyways, this one is T Lopia. The song is called "See You Then." It is a finished release, and the description is: T Lopia is a concept project that takes inspiration from a world of influences in an attempt to grow and learn about what binds us all humans. First release, International Man of Mystique. Takes aim at indie rock music, the 70s, and Italy. Wow, that sounds pretty interesting. Cool combination there.
How the fuck did you find us? And who
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you? Who are
Let
you?
it let us know let us know how you find us. Oh, this might be from Reddit actually.
binds us all as humans.
This might
Very
be a connection from Reddit.
world of influences in an attempt to grow and learn what binds us all as humans. This sounds very broad but very spiritual. So let's see.
Oh, this is Mitchell. This is Mitchell Corbett.
Oh shit! What's up, Mitchell? He said, "What's up?" Right? How do you know?
Yeah.
It says in the chat.
No, I'm looking at the form.
Oh, it says Tilapia with a cowboy hat. All right, cool. Reddit. Oh, okay.
This is from We Are the Music Makers subreddit. Yeah.
Fire. All right, let's do it. You
All
have it up?
right. Yep. 3, 2, 1. Hit it. Ooh. Nice.
Wow.
Damn.
Ooh. Interesting chord.
Two lonely blue eyes will slowly fade into the dull horizon. Now we'll count the days till you return. Then we'll forget all our concerns. Over an ocean, emotions run. Distance don't last, son. These growing tensions. We say so long and act like we don't.
Ooh, I love that.
That chord.
Yeah.
That's very Green Day.
I think it's a minor 4 or minor. I could be wrong about that. Minor 5? Ooh, love that chord too.
I knew you, dude. It's like Green Day shit.
Sort of. Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
What's up? Yeah.
Postcards
Ooh,
and
nice.
falling off my wall. Daunting days spent waiting for a call. Oh, these language walls make it hard to read each other. Lonesome, so we say another.
Yeah.
Oh, slow down.
Smooth. That's like smoother than Italian leather. Shit. So catchy.
It makes my head like
Yeah.
drop back and forth.
Chris, your alarm's going off.
Shit.
That's not the
Thank
song, folks.
Thank you. Sorry.
Silence it next time. Whoa.
Sheesh.
What was that sound at the end?
Sounds like some sort of tape recorder or something.
It was like a maybe it was that. It sounded like a drill to me.
That makes less sense, but yeah, maybe
Yeah, I
it's a
was
drill.
like, maybe
Yeah,
somebody, maybe they used a drill. I don't know. That drill aside,
true.
wow. I mean, fuck. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, I was super impressed. Who did this remind me of? Let me see.
God damn. That was interesting. Oh, I'm so happy. I went to music school. I was right. It was a minor 4.
Yeah.
That's nice. Damn.
Sorry, I'm
Sorry.
trying to find the Elsinore. It reminded me
Oh,
of the band Elsinore. Sorry.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a Polaroid camera photo printing. That's cool.
Hmm.
Is there should be a music video for this.
Yeah, that
That
was super
alone
cool.
makes me wish there was a music video.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right. Should we try to go through like the categories here? So
Yeah,
excited.
I was trying to find the vibe that it reminded me of. It reminded me. I went into a little indie pop phase, and I knew of a band called Elsinore. That's who I was trying to find. It reminded me of that. It's the kind of
Yeah,
fucking music that makes you shake your head back and forth,
sure.
man. Very catchy little doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, like little sound there, and then the da na 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 na, like that usually stuck in my ear. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was cool. There's a lot of you took us on a little journey too. Um, you did a slowdown in the I think like in the second third of the song,
That was nice. Yeah.
and then you came back in flawlessly. Um, yeah, it was cool, man. I think vibes. I think that's an easy sunny day. Sun is not really green, but that's a green. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, dude, totally. I mean, I can't find anything wrong with the vibes.
Yeah,
Like,
no
super
way.
fun.
Positive.
This might bleed into content a little bit, but I mean, there was maybe
Content was
one or
fantastic.
yeah, content was very good. I mean, it's just well written. Like, oh my god, there were a couple of points, like maybe before one of the stops, where there was some percussive thing along with guitar, like,
Yeah,
which was really, really, really well done. Like,
it
that's
sounded like
one
a
of those.
scraper.
Yeah, like that's just one of those sort of professional moments that's like this attention to detail thing that you just don't hear on a lot of stuff. It's like
Mm,
that's what separates the sort of radio ready stuff from the, not radio ready is those little details, especially in transitions that just sound so good and like make so much sense.
mhm.
So yeah, I thought that was really good. Vibes obviously is a green. Um, Content, just to go right into it. I mean, again, it's great. I think it's well written. Uh, one like a couple of just like minor like wants, sort
Yep,
of preference based. Towards the last chorus, I thought it was like maybe felt just a hair long. I
repetitive.
think
Yeah.
the way the song rounded out, like at the end, I didn't feel like it was too long, but during it, like during that last chorus, it was a little bit repetitive. I don't know if you could like change up that last chorus a little bit. That might be one way to make it more interesting. Dude, I can't believe this only has 241 views on YouTube. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Solid.
That is that's crazy. Um, but yeah, other than that, I thought content was quite good. When it slowed down, I was hoping that there'd be some like bridge section that was a little bit more different and surprising,
Yep.
but it was still enough of a surprise to be interesting and keep us going. So
Mhm.
yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. Um, then should we go into? Oh, do you have any other comments on production and content?
No, content-wise, I think it was pretty well done. I kind of liked every single instrument that I heard.
Yeah,
I was never really bored. I do agree with the last chorus, but I think it kind of also served the purpose to get that chorus really stuck in my head because that's what it did. Um, I have a couple comments on production, but content-wise, I think it's a green. I think it's solid.
sure. All right. So I mean, production. Honestly, you might actually have more than I do for this one.
True. I
I
don't have.
I
It's
thought.
only with vocals, really. But continue.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that's one area where I have maybe a couple of small things, but
Do it.
overall, I mean, it's very rare that we get things that sound this professional,
Yep.
honestly.
Yep.
Um, and it sounds pleasing. Like that's what it's about. Is it just doesn't make you cringe at all. It's like
Yeah. It was
a
definitely on a next level.
Yeah, good experience overall. The one thing that you might feel similarly about, I'm guessing, uh, the vocal felt just a little bit forward sometimes, or a little bit like
Yep.
heavy in the low end.
Yeah. Or
There are
maybe too
times
much
when
distortion.
it could be a little bit too much saturation.
Yeah. Some
I mean,
overdrive on it.
there are definitely times when I do like a vocal that has, enough low end on it, but it's the closer you are to pop, the more careful you need to be with that, I think, because it can sort of just sound like there's some overhang sort of on the vocal that's like in front of everything else in a, little bit too too close of a way. If that makes any sense at all.
Mm.
I would just suggest like dial it back a hair, just a hair on the low end on the vocal, or maybe even the level could come back like 0.2 decibels or something
Yep.
like that. Uh, but yeah, that's literally all that I have. What do you have?
I think the same exact thing, which is kind of interesting. I think a lot of the songs we talked about so far was, hey, we want to hear the vocal more. Hey, we want to hear the vocal more. And then we get one that sounds really professional, and then it's like, hey, man, tone it down a little bit. Because it kind of shows you like the balance is really, really delicate.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm trying to think of my experience in the song. I think I'm trying to remember if I noticed it right away. I think it was more so towards the middle of the song where I started to notice that, hey, this vocal's a little bit forward. It's kind of clashing with some things in like the mid range, and I think it just was pushed to distortion a little bit too hard. Um, Especially with the delivery. The delivery's not going crazy in terms of like screaming, so distortion kind of just felt like a weird choice to me. There's like a distortion and maybe like a little bit of a low cut, or yeah, low cut filter, but yeah, there was a lot of mid range, uh, maybe lower mid range in the vocal, like what Josh was saying. That kind of gave it a lot of power, and it made it really stand out in front of everything else. And I just think it was a little bit too strong, just a little bit. Um, yeah, so my
Wait,
production,
how
I
do you
think,
say that in Italian?
a little bit. Is
Yeah,
it poco a poco? Is that what it is?
I have no idea.
Is it poco a poco? Tilo Pia, do you know? Are you Italian actually? I don't know.
Yeah. What
Um,
is that?
I think Poco Poco is in like a musical scoring kind of thing. Like I think
Oh
it
yeah,
means like little by little. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
you know, I think everything else though, production wise, was pretty fucking solid.
yeah,
So that's like a 95% green for me, maybe a
yeah,
90%. It's between
yeah.
for sure.
I'm there too. I mean, I would even say like 96, 97 if we were to get really specific, just because I feel like I could not mind. Like I could listen to it and not really mind that. Um, but there is a slight thing that I think both of us noticed with that.
That's
Um,
it. So yeah, it is Poco, and then he said he's not Italian. Haha,
ah, damn.
could have fooled me, but yeah.
Nice.
Um,
You tricked us.
yeah, dude. So I think the final
Um,
score for me, I think it's a solid good to go. I think it sounds
dude,
pretty
did you
professional. I think it's
for your
what?
track total? For your
Yeah.
track total?
Yep.
Dude, I don't know about you, maybe you didn't, but I kinda got that feeling throughout pretty much the whole song where I was like, "This is so" dude, I mean, come on. This thing has 241 views, and it's this good,
You're
and
talking about purple?
I'm talking about purple, baby.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, look, we also haven't had a purple track in so many weeks, and I feel like this is the one that finally came through and gave me that feeling again where I'm like, "Whoa, this is somebody who needs to be, like, heard because
Yep.
this is really good." Like, I'm fucking adding this to my library for sure.
Hmm.
Um, Even if it's not necessarily, like, my primary genre that I always listen to, it
Yep.
definitely sounds pretty goddamn professional to me. Uh,
Yeah. And you heard me say it too. Uh, that I think this was on another level compared to the submissions that we've been getting in like the past month and stuff. So
yeah.
I'm not mad if you put it on purple. Uh,
I mean,
yeah.
I this was like my gut feeling just when I was listening. With a
Yeah.
lot of the things that were done, sort of put it into that category of like overdrive, right? Like
Yep.
most times you do not see that and that and that and that, and it's just refreshing to see that and hear that and feel that. So
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, we have to put, find the good stuff and put it into the top tier playlist, or else we won't have anything. Uh, and I thought that it was there.
Well, You know what? I'm fucking down. Let's put it in purple.
Let's go.
Tilapia, top tier track. You made it into the exclusive playlist of FastTrack Feedback Fridays. We thought
Let's
you were good enough
go.
to make it, man, and we hope that we can give you a little bit of exposure.
Yeah, seriously.
With our what 6 chatters. Let's go. But
We've been consistent. Yeah.
yeah,
Man.
absolute legendary and helpful feedback, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for
Yes.
submitting to us and checking
Yeah.
us out.
Yes, thanks for submitting and congratulations. This is an opportunity for everybody. I mean, again, it
Really
doesn't
good.
matter.
Well done. Yeah, job well done.
This is what it's all about. It's just like it doesn't matter how many viewers you have or followers or whatever. It's just can you make music that really like moves us in a way that also is very professionally done and the attention to detail is important. So yeah, I think this is a good find for all of us. Congratulations and thank you.
Yeah, unless you're saying some whack shit in Italian that we just don't know, but yeah.
That's
Thank
true.
you.
That's a good point. We should double check with our people.
Yeah, if you're like reciting, I don't know, I shouldn't say what I'm about to say.
That's the whiskey speaking.
Yeah, I'm done. But yeah, thank you very much, Tilo Pia. You made it. Good vibes. That's right.
Nice.
Cool. Want to go to the next one?
Yeah,
Carl
let's do
Man.
it. Hey, Carl Man. All right, so Carl Man is Jason Carlson, which again, by the way,
dude, put him on blast. Just name his government out there.
his government name.
Yeah, bro.
Little interlude for folks. If you haven't already, follow us on Instagram, which is over there. For all of our updates, see our top tier playlist, track stuff, which you'll see soon, and stuff about the team. So if you actually want to stalk Jason, you can do that.
Oof.
fairly
Double
easily.
on blast. Damn.
Yeah. fairly
Sorry,
easily.
Jason.
Hey, he might get more followers. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, maybe.
And if he's trying to make his music career here work, then I think he might need it.
Yeah. No,
All
we're
right,
here to help, Jason.
Jason has helped us immensely with marketing stuff throughout the summer.
Appreciate it.
So thank you for that. And we are gonna hopefully repay you with some feedback here on your track, which we are ecstatic to hear. Can't wait.
So Carman, only one. It's a work in progress. So it's a project I've been working on and would love to hear some feedback on it. Hey, that's what we do. Going more of a club vibe here. So let me know if I hit that. Enjoy. All right, gotta get my Drake on. That one dance.
Oh yeah.
All right, only one. WIP. You ready for this, Josh?
All right, I think I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Shout out, Carlman. Stabs right at the beginning. They punch kind of hard though.
Yeah.
What's that vocal?
I just want you to know I'm the only
Is that Jason?
who loves you like I love myself, and I've only begun. And girl, you don't gotta worry about what they gon' say. I'll be here till the very end, until the last day. I never wanna hurt you.
I told you, bro. It's going fucking Drake shit.
I'm never gonna leave you. I will be by your side, and I'm never gonna deceive you. You got my heart, girl. There ain't no other. No. 'Cause when I say forever, I really mean forever.
This guy can sing.
No other girl
Yeah.
can come and take your place, and I'll put that on my grave. And I ain't got no shame. And I just want you to know you're my only one. And if I had to travel across the world and chase the sun, I would for you. Yes, I would do whatever it would take to put a smile on your face. I never wanna hurt you.
Ooh, nice layering.
I'm never gonna leave
Reminds me of Black Bear a little bit.
Oh, I see that.
and I'm never gonna deceive you. You got my heart, girl. There ain't
The enunciation is similar, yeah.
'cause when I say forever, I really mean
He has that pop sound in this part specifically.
Yeah. That's how Black Bear got his start too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll put that on my grave.
So Jason, I think this snare specifically, I think it could go up.
Or, yeah, I have some comments on that, but I'll save it.
On the kick too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have some more in-depth stuff on the drums.
Yep.
Oh, that other vocal is different.
I do hear the Black Bear a lot.
Yeah, the layering and melodies are similar too.
Bro.
Nice.
I thought it was the end.
Yeah. Might need like a swell or something to keep it moving there.
There it is.
Okay.
Only
Nice.
one. WIP. Jason Carson. Right? Or fucking Carl, man. Bro, I think
Yeah,
right
there you
away, I think you improved a lot from the last time we've heard it. So,
Sure.
shouts out to you, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm just
fucking
trying-
told you, bro. He was gonna do the Drake type vibe, and that was it.
it
I
was
knew it.
sort of Drake. I mean, I heard a little
I
bit
mean
of Drake.
the beat wise
Yeah.
was trying to, I think, especially with the reggaeton drums there, like the boom, like that shit is like. I mean, it's not Drake because he copied reggaeton, but you know.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of places for sure, but
Yeah.
I sort of want to try to unpack this. I think I might want to go out of order with this one because I think there's more on the production side than anything, probably.
Yep.
I mean, just to start off, like the biggest thing that I'm hearing here is some struggle with sounds, right? With the sound
Mhm.
selections. For me at least, like getting into like electronic-ish, non-physical instrument music production, the
Yep.
hardest thing initially is finding the right sounds, finding good sounds.
Yep.
I know that can be tough to, find and also to have the ear to differentiate which sounds are like good and high quality and sound like radio ready and which ones don't.
Yep.
And so I sort of just felt like, especially like the snare was probably the sound that I would first swap out.
Yep.
It just sounded pretty small and kind of weak.
Yeah.
It's partly like a levels and volume thing, but I just think the snare, multiple different parts sounded very stock, and they didn't sound like they necessarily went together with each other very well. One solution to that can be like use a kick and a snare from the same drum kit,
Yeah.
right? So if you get like drum kits from like Native Instruments or like whoever, or from even just Logic
Contact.
or Ableton or Contact or whatever, like you
Or
might
your
have
favorite
better
producer.
you might have better luck using drums that are from the same sample pack. They might be more likely to fit together better. And also, like most of the stock sounds, I don't know what you're using exactly here, but most of the stock sounds are pretty like thin. You can use stock sounds and like layer them, but it really is better to get some more professional sounding source material. Even just like finding good drum samples from Splice or somewhere, you might find some
Splice,
beefier, beefier like drum samples. Ooh, that is super loud.
Sorry.
All good. So yeah, that's my main comment. The stabs were definitely like a centerpiece here, and they were cool. Like I think if I found that sound, I'd definitely use it also.
Yep.
But it needs to be sort of molded and worked with a little bit more from its
Yep.
original state.
Yep.
You probably need to. It's a little bit too transient. Honestly, you
Yeah.
might have some luck applying a little bit
Compressing.
of compression to it to even that
Yep.
out just a little bit.
Yep.
Doesn't have to go crazy on it. And be careful if you start compressing that because it's going to sound louder to your ears and you're going to think it sounds better and better and better. But there is a sweet spot. And so you want to like adjust your volume after you apply some compression and A, B with neutral volume.
Yep.
Just so you're not like louder, louder, louder. It sounds better. It's like crack for your ears.
Yep.
But yeah, just be careful with that, but it might help.
He said, I
And
made
then,
this on GarageBand. My other software crashed on me. Oof.
yeah.
But hey, man, you
So
can make some good stuff on GarageBand as long as you get the right sounds. So,
yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing that I was most impressed with, and I don't know if this was Jason, if this was you, or if this was because of the recording, or if you did mixing to it, but the vocals and the vocal production sounded pretty good, pretty great.
decent.
Yeah, like the parts that went with the vocals were well arranged, and the harmonies were good, and vocal style and performance was delivered pretty professionally.
Mm.
But the actual instrumentation sounded pretty stock, and I'm maybe we were right. Maybe it does have to do with being stock sounds from like GarageBand. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like right now, I can pretty easily identify it as that. So I would say get some sounds, do some sifting, you know, work on it with friends and stuff, and try to figure out what really pops. Because once you get that down, you're only on the way up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
With,
really I think it starts with sounds and then it goes into mixing. And, you know, I think some of the vocals probably could have been mixed to sit together a little bit more with the instrumentation and with each other. It could be just a little bit cleaner. But yeah, that's my initial main things. What were you gonna say? What do you think?
I was gonna say whenever I start producing a song, I always like cycle through. Like if I want to kick, I go through like the specific pack that I'm thinking would sound nice for the idea that I have, and I literally just like cycle through each sound until I think one is sounding right. And like it's usually not from a stock kit. So that's what Josh is saying. Like you have an idea, say like, oh, club. Um, One kind of actionable item. If you go to Cymatics, they have a lot of high quality, I would say, drum sounds, and they give away
Yeah.
a bunch of things for free. So if money's like your issue, or it's also really cheap, hit up their store, man. You can get a lot of packs for free that sound pretty decent. But just like go to them, and they have like a bunch of different genres. So if you have like a genre in mind, be like, okay, I want to make a Drake style beat, or I want to make a club beat. Then go to their club pack. I guarantee they have something like it, or it's called Diamond or something. I don't know. And then they'll have kicks, and then just cycle through the kicks, and then compare it to GarageBand fucking samples. It's just gonna be night and day, and you'll be like, okay, that's the kick that I want. Like,
Yeah.
because I think rhythmically and stuff, like in terms of the drums, it sounds like pretty decent. Like I don't know if I'd really change much. It sounds like
Yeah.
a regular kind of club, like I said, Drake type beat, and I think that's what you're going for. It's just the sound quality of the samples could be changed.
Yeah.
Luckily, that's pretty easy to do, so you just need to do that.
Right,
Um,
it's more like the sounds, the arrangement of the sounds is pretty good. I think it could benefit from like some sort of embellishments, like swells when you've got like a drop off. Like
bro,
those can be really
where's the sub
powerful.
bass? That's where I was wondering.
Yeah, and like I mean, the kick. I thought the kick was sort of like like a big kick balloon. Like it was a little bit too like round and
Balloon.
large.
Boom.
Yeah. And then but then the snare is this tiny thing. So it's like you have this tiny
Yeah.
little snare and this big giant kick, and it was kind of weird.
And that's why,
Um,
like, in the middle of the song, I was like, this snare in particular, because, like, I think the reggaeton snare, it sounded like a different one and it was a little bit louder. But the one that I kind of jumped in and said, Jason, I think this snare needs to change. That's why I said it, because I think at that point, the snare in that specific part of the song, it sounded like the weakest in terms of
yeah.
balance. Um, but yeah, what
You
else
know
did I notice?
what I
Sorry.
really wanted to hear, you mentioned sub bass. If there's
Yeah.
anything I would think you could probably keep and just like sort of shape in terms of, compression, EQ and that kind of stuff. Those I think the stabs are like a good source material thing.
Yeah, the
But
stabs sound good, but they really were stabby, like, boom,
yeah,
very
like
transient.
a little
I
bit of
noticed that from the
compression.
very beginning, right, Jason? Like I was like, the stabs sound really transient. Like they
Right,
sound
and
really
right now they're very dynamic, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing, right? It's harder if you have really flat compressed material to make it more dynamic. It's just like you need to bring it back a little bit, and that'll help make them sound fatter.
Yep.
And in addition to that, depending on what the compression does to it, like I would do the compression first. Um, you might it might be difficult to do octavizing or anything on the stabs themselves because they're kind of complex, but tying like to the MIDI note or somehow like lining up a sub bass to the stab, getting some more low end underneath, like synchronized with the stab, I think would make it feel fuller and more powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just sort of an idea there.
Yeah, I would probably play with the volume before compression because I think in general the stabs were louder than the vocals, but it wasn't a huge problem because they're really transient. Like it only happened for when they played, right? So
Right.
like, hey man, make some room for the vocals because I think that's where you guys really shined there. Like the processing sounded decent. I think the background vocals maybe were a little bit too dark sounding, meaning like I would push up the high ends on them, especially if you're gonna go in for like a Black Bear. So me, when I think about Black Bear, is like his uh his background vocals even and like harmonies are really kind of present and in your face, and it sounds really smooth. Um,
Yeah. Although
with
they're
yours, it just
definitely
sounds a little dull, but I mean, it definitely sounds really good, and I think it deserves to be pushed up further, and the
yeah,
stabs be kind of taken back.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
In
Um
general, I think for a clubby kind of vibe, the mix in general seems a little bit spacious, a little bit too empty, and that's kind of why I'm suggesting sub bass on it. And in
yeah.
terms of stabs, man, like put some delays, put some echoes on it. That could really kind of give it a more spacious vibe to it. So yeah, that's what I'm
True.
thinking. What do you think, Josh? Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, I mean, I think I already went through most of it, and we should really move on to the last one here, which is going to be K Suave.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Almost
Jason,
about to
thank you
hit
very much.
7:30.
We broke our fucking rules. So vibes, I think it's club vibes, but right now it's empty club vibes. So I would try to full out the sound a little bit. Take into account what Josh and I have said. So I would say it's probably between a yellow and a green, maybe a little bit more towards yellow. Um, content wise, in terms of arrangement, I think it's decent. I agree with your comment that it should have ended where it ended. No, okay, Suave, you're gonna be there. We're gonna go to you right now. Arrangement, I think, or sorry, content though. I'd probably say samples are in there too, so it's a yellow. Look for different samples. Production, I think it's yellow to orange because I would work on a lot of this stuff as I was a producer.
Yeah.
And overall, I think it's a develop from me. So I think you improved, man, and I think this is gonna be pretty sweet if once I hear another version. So I'm excited. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, no, I could pretty much mirror most of that. I mean, I
Right.
like the vibes a lot. I thought it was cool. It just, it gives me the stock vibe where it's like
Yep.
I can sort of tell it was made in GarageBand. Um, I mean, it's true, right? That's the whole point of what we're doing here. But yeah, the harder part, honestly, is getting the good like feel to the song and all that stuff, which you totally have here. Like it's the song part is at a fairly professional level. It's just getting those sounds to sound more professional and cohesive and fuller is where we're at here.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a very specific sort of actionable thing to look into, which is good. Yeah,
Well,
content again, I would sort of say the same thing as Chris, and production also would be pretty much the same. Track total also develop. Yeah, just like it's on the way there. This is pretty awesome, honestly. I'm glad that you sent it to us. Um,
hey,
and yeah,
Suave, give us access to your song. Sorry.
oh, is it?
I
Yes,
clicked
that
on
would
the
be
link, bro.
important.
Yeah,
That
help
would
us
be
out here.
important. Yeah, just make it public for a minute. Nobody's gonna hack you.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so I would say also develop there. Thank you, Jason, for sending us to us. Keep sending us shit, dude. Please.
Yeah, hope you're doing well too, bro.
Yeah, we would love to hear this again if you work on it or other stuff that you're working on. So yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No, hold up, he says. All right. While we wait for K Suave, um, yeah, it says you need access. All right, K Suave, we waiting. Don't worry. No rush. I think you're the last person we're gonna review today.
Okay, so we can at least say it looks like his song title is Pros and Con, uh, Work in
Oh, pros and
Progress,
cons. Yeah. Sorry.
Pros and Cons.
Maybe I
Mo-
copied it wrong.
his description looks like he said wanted to get off or rap and focus more on my voice. Okay,
Oh, maybe get off of rap. I don't know, because he usually
get
raps.
off. Oh, okay. Get
Maybe
the
focus on your voice, bro. You sing every track. But thank you. I'll be back. Thank you, Carl, man. We appreciate you. Dude,
Yeah.
by
thank
the way,
you.
Carl, man, if you're interested, bro, Hip Hop Collective, man, let me know. Join that Discord. We practice every Tuesday. Come through.
Oh yeah. All right. Here we go with. Let's see. Is it working now?
I think so.
Pros and cons.
Yep.
Boom. I think we've got it.
Sweet.
Just loading.
All right, K Swabe, the vocal layering god. He says he wants to get off of rap and focus on his vocals, but I don't know what you're talking about, bro. All I hear is vocals. So, no,
All
he's
right.
probably working. Shouts out to K Swabe. Thank you very much, bro. Josh, you ready?
Yep. Let's play it.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Pros and cons.
Nice. Lo-fi.
Mhm.
And I die for nothing, no. Our love was phenomenal.
So
Is that the goofy filter from TikTok?
Kicked out for
I don't know what you're talking about.
anger, that's my mind. You're running through. I just wanna hold on to love. Do it exist?
Ooh, nice.
And I probably could have told you my words. Would they have made you stay? These are the pros and cons of you, and I'm confused.
Nice.
I'm steady holding on like glue to make your move.
Super silky, dude.
She said it's been over for a long, long, long time. It was the pain in her eyes that made me feel all gone inside.
Don Toliver.
And I realized I died, and I died for nothing, no.
Nice harmonies.
Our love was phenomenal. Kicked out for loving you. Anger, that's my mind. You're running through. I just wanna hold on to love. Do it exist these days?
Nice.
And I probably could have told you my words. Would they have made you stay? These are the pros and cons of you.
Crazy.
Wow.
Wow, man.
Dude, that
I
was
always
like
do it. K Suave has a great voice.
that was
Very
like
silky smooth.
that was like beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
man.
Yeah, man. I mean on all ends, like there was some powerful lyrical shit in there.
Yeah.
And just the vocal and the harmonies were super silky smooth, as you said, and
I gotta say, in terms of everything that I've heard from K Suave, he submits to Bo's stream a lot, and he submits to our stream on occasion too. I think this was one of the more heartfelt performances that I've heard from him.
yeah, shit.
Because sometimes he'll just like make tracks like left and right, like his output's a madman. But
Yeah.
I think this one is something you should take further, man, for sure. Yeah,
Please do.
it's like for like borderline goosebumps. I felt like almost like, so I mentioned Don Toliver. I felt like very Don Toliver vibes. I also thought a little bit like Phil Collins type vibes, like singing on Tarzan. You have a very powerful vocal. The one thing I say, man, and it might be towards Josh's comment, what he said about a TikToker filter or something. I think you should dial back the autotune on this because you don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
And when you get breathy, the autotune like doesn't know what the fuck to do. And like you
Yeah,
could hear it kind of
but
struggling, but you don't need it. Like just tone it down, you know? Turn down the
so
retune speed.
I couldn't tell. I mean, I don't know if that is what that's from, but I mean, the obvious effect that I think we were both hearing is like the warbly wobbly thing,
Yeah.
which I don't think that's just auto-tune. I think auto-tune cranked all the way up keeps a consistent pitch. It doesn't do that crazy thing unless you turn up like some vibrato setting or something. That
Yeah.
that could maybe be it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, my first impression right away was like, sounds like that crazy voice filter on TikTok. I think it's on TikTok where it's like that, like that super crazy thing.
Okay, Suave, that better not be on your fucking voice. Why are you putting TikTok filters on your fucking voice?
Yeah, and it's such a heartfelt
We
song.
talked, yeah, we talked about shit. What did we call? We said polishing turds. Well,
Yeah,
if you did
yeah,
that, you're shitting on diamonds, and that's not
you're.
what I want.
Ooh, yeah,
Okay?
that's a good analogy.
Yeah,
Good
bro.
analogy.
We don't polish turds here. We don't shit on diamonds. So you better not do that to your fucking voice.
Wow, dude, so many people in GarageBand today. What is going on?
Just
Um,
basic GarageBand auto tune them now. I think what
wow,
happens with that is like if the level gets too small and then the pitch kind of gets ambiguous, it doesn't know where to go. I
it
feel
could
like that's
be.
what happened, but I don't
It's
know.
weird because it sounded more coordinated than like an auto-tune not knowing what to do, but maybe there's
I
some
see what you're
setting
saying.
that something in the auto-tune engine in GarageBand, I don't know. But I would just say like, yeah, you've got something really special there and you've got a great voice, obviously. Don't mess it up with some crazy goofy effect like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't use auto-tune actually. Like I thought
Yeah.
I could see that
Sounds
vibe and
great.
there were points when it actually gives a really cool sound, like the stepping thing when you're going up to a high note is kind of like dramatic and cool.
Yeah.
But
Reminds me of
like,
XXX Tentacion as well. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, especially just in the beginning was when that was most noticeable with the wavering, pitch wavering.
Yeah.
I would try to fix
Is
that.
this the goofy filter from TikTok?
Dude, I swear it sounds so similar. Anybody who knows knows.
No, I know what you mean, but that just like took me aback. I was like, "Hey, Suave, you better not have submitted something like that."
I couldn't tell. Couldn't tell.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
so I was a big fan of it, man. Also, I think a minor note. I think the bass on the guitar. I don't know if it was the bass note of the guitar or just the bass guitar. I think it was a little bit too loud. But yeah, what do you think? Sorry, Josh.
yeah, I mean, production wise, I guess just quickly we can go through like the categories again. For
Vibes
vibes,
is green.
vibes is absolutely green. Loved it. We talked about
Yeah,
that. Um,
yeah,
for content, dude, yeah, again, powerful shit here. Like both lyrically and I think the arrangement is really simple in a really refreshing, nice way.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, this is something that I could see like if you take it that extra mile in production and just cleaning things up, it could definitely be like a hit thing. Like this could get you a lot of fucking listens, and it's great to have that diversity if you've got like a range of style, and then this comes out. Like look at like Post Malone and Stay on that album, right? Like that brought so many people to Post Malone who might not be super into his main stuff, but if you bring in the softy shit, right, you're gonna get like a whole nother demographic.
Mhm.
So yeah, man, this was really really sweet. Uh, yeah, content would also be a green for sure. Production, I mean, there were a
Look
few
at
things.
Tilo Pia. Congrats on the purple. Sorry, I'm reading chat.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in, man. Make sure you get us on Insta. Maybe you already did. I can't
And
remember,
chess,
but
bro. I think we're gonna be done after this. Yeah. We usually don't
yeah,
go past 7:30, and we're already fucked. So
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll be here next week. So yeah, we'll
and
if
we'll
you have
review your
anything,
stuff. Yeah, if you submitted, we'll review it. So
yeah,
we
make
got.
if you have anything that you put in the chat, we might miss it. Just make sure you put it
He put it in the form.
in the for. Oh, okay, cool. So that's good. But yeah, then for production, we've talked about a couple of things here, but yes, the vocal is the main one with just like don't let anything get in the way of that awesome vocal.
The
Especially
goofy stuff.
especially TikTok filters, yeah.
Okay, Suave, I'm gonna kick your ass if you put a TikTok filter on your voice.
That was,
Oh, that's so funny.
the main
That made
thing.
me laugh.
Also, I mean, I thought the bass volume was okay. There might be some things that could be just again tidied up as far as mixing goes there. But one nitpicky thing, I thought the guitar at the beginning was just a little bit too quiet compared to the other stuff. It's great to have the dynamic difference between like the opening part and then when things come in, that's awesome. But I'm just saying the balance could be like, kicked up just a little bit so we aren't struggling to hear it at the beginning. But yeah, that's just about all I've got, I think, for production. Do you have anything else?
Nope. The most thing was I would just say lay back the autotune a little bit. keep the vibes, lower down the bass guitar. Yeah, that's all I have.
Sweet. Yeah, man, dude, I cannot wait to hear this shit as a finished release, like for real.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
one
dude,
could
it's
be up
really close.
there. It could be a top tier at that point. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite K Suave songs so far. Like this
Yeah,
is very memorable for me.
yeah,
So
man.
I like that type shit. So very cool. I was going for like a movie soundtrack style. I could see that. I could see that. I could see it as just like XXX Tentacion 17 type type beat.
Yeah.
Chess said, "My boy listening from the capital to hear." Capitol Records or just the capital with an O? I don't know.
Capital with an
But
O, yeah.
the people want more. Gorge the masses. We will after I gorge my fucking stomach because I'm hungry, bro. Um,
Yes.
then that alarm that
Oh,
went off, that means I have a fucking machine that I need to go tend to in the clean room. So
ah.
yeah,
Oh,
I can't
final
say.
score. Final score. Um, I would
It's in-
say this is very close to good to go, but there's obvious production stuff. But it's like one of those ones where the emotional side is super up there, and then
Yeah,
there's just some production work that needs to meet the song where it is to be really great. So yeah.
yeah. This is like a LA Lakers type vibe because if it's like between a yellow green and a purple, that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Ooh,
So
that's true.
whatever's between yellow and purple, what's that?
Oh, we've tried to hash this out before. It didn't go well. I think
What's
it's
in between yellow and
blue.
purple?
Isn't it blue?
Oh, is it?
I think it
Maybe.
might be blue. Well, yeah, I don't know. It depends if you're
You
talking about
combine
pigment
blue
or
and
light.
yellow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know. Let's just say blue. It's easiest.
Yeah, it's blue. It's in between. Like this has a lot of potential, is what we're saying, Case of it. So
Yeah.
let us
Yeah,
know when you finish that shit up, and that might be a purple.
keep us updated.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's all we've got time for today after about 2 hours of stream here.
I gotta get
Uh,
that purple one day. You're close, bro.
ooh, you're so close. Yeah, man. Can't wait. So yeah, thanks everyone for sticking around and submitting your songs. Always love to hear what you guys are working on, and so great to get the variety of genre and style and everything that we get,
Ye-
even from the same people. So yeah, keep sending us shit. Follow us on Insta, and follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and we will
All
be
that
back again soon, probably next week for another stream. So.
shit.
Thanks, K Suave. Um, Great to hear stuff from you often.
Likewise,
And
bro. Stay safe.
yeah, stay safe out there. That goes for everybody as well. We want all of you to
Ye-
stay safe. So yeah,
ye-
thanks again
Chris,
for
bro, let us
watching.
know the next NFT concert.
Yes. Um, but yeah, anything else that you got, Chris?
No, I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. Peace.
You're
Later,
good.
y'all.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Peace. Peace.